From deep within our hidden volcano laboratory, a podcast about gaming from the people who bring your games to life. These are your core elements. Core Elements, episode 70, recorded on November 4th, 2014. Oh, wait, you were supposed to do that, weren't you, Spencer?
I don't care. Who are you?
I'm Wes Wilson.
I'm Spencer Williams, and I'm here under protest because I want to be watching the election returns. And with us here today...
Really?
No, not really. Is Gabriel Mughelli. Hello.
Hey, guys. What's up?
And he's from Hi-Rez Studios.
Yes. And you guys are most famous right now for Smite.
That's right, yes.
Which is unfortunate.
Now, Spencer's not a huge MOBA fan, so we're gonna...
No, that's because it's a terrible genre, and you have created a great example, one of the best games in a terrible genre. I'll just give that to you, okay?
That's cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. No, it's interesting. We get, like, people say it a lot that Smite is kind of like their gateway MOBA. So it's kind of like they have this preconception of MOBAs and like how they are and what their communities are like. But then they play Smite and it's a completely different experience from your traditional MOBA, and they actually have a lot of fun and are able to get into it. And because of that, they actually start looking into other MOBAs. So not everyone says that, but we've heard it a lot. So that's interesting that you say that it's a good game in a strange genre.
Well, I hate the RTS mechanics. So the fact that it's not an RTS mechanic puts it head and shoulders above most MOBAs. So
now, what exactly do you do with Hi-Rez? Why don't you tell the audience?
I'm the Hi-Rez PR guy, so I communicate with a lot of people who are influential within the gaming industry. I talk a lot with community sites. I help out with events, a lot of local events. I get to hang out with cool people here in Atlanta, like the folks at Dragon Con and MomoCon and AWA and Siege and stuff like that. So I just have fun and talk about video games.
Life is hard, isn't it?
It's really rough.
So when you say you hang out with the cool people at MomoCon, for those of you that don't know, is a anime con in Atlanta. When you say you get to hang out with those cool people, do you just like walk into a boardroom and it's full of people in cosplay and furry outfits? That's what I'm imagining. And they all just like their giant soulless eyes turn towards you and they just sit there staring at you, waiting for you to give a presentation.
No, man, it's not like that. But
I really wanted this to go off the rails as quickly as possible. There's costumes like that at MomoCon, but that's not the core experience. Actually, the owners, Jess and Chris, I don't think I've ever seen them dress up at all, so no, I don't know.
That's a really good point. I don't think I've seen that either.
Yeah.
That's so strange. They should be in costume at their own con, or at least at other people's cons.
Should really
I
force
went
them.
through last year to play a board game that had just giant plant people and an iPad, and that was it. So I just walked past all of the crazy costumes and didn't even look at them. So yeah.
And Spencer used to be a big con guy, so don't buy any of this. Okay, he used to go to all the cons all the time, and he knew all the little anime people.
Did I ever dress up? Did you ever see me dress up?
It depends.
Other than like in thigh highs.
So let's talk about what Hi-Rez has been doing lately, since this is your time and Spencer's just stealing it. So you guys have been working on Smite for quite a while, and the response for that has been really overwhelming comparative to some of your other games, correct?
Smite's, I think it's definitely, you can easily say it's our most popular game of the games we've made, yeah.
And tell people about the other games, like where your company is sort of founded.
Company Founded in 2005. The first game, Global Agenda, was a sci-fi kind of third-person shooter that was an MMO. It actually had a lot of elements to it. It had PvP, it had PvE, there was raids, there was a lot of really cool things you can do. And that was our first game, Global Agenda. Our second game, Tribes Ascend, came out in 2012. It was a very fast-paced first-person shooter. It was actually a pre-existing IP that we sort of picked up. Tribes games started like back in, I want to say like 1998 or so. They've been really popular for a long time, and we kind of picked it up and reimagined it for the modern era in a free-to-play capacity, and it did really well. Got a lot of really good reviews. And Smite is our third game. It's actually a game that has been in like the creative process for a really long time. It just recently came out this year. This year in March 12th was our launch tournament. Did really well. I had a lot of people showed up to watch it live, and it's just really sort of taken off from there and become really popular. And now we are going into a lot more sort of esports centric events. We have coming up in this month, we have our European regional championships, which is going to decide which 2 European teams get to go to the world championships in January. We also have our North American championships happening this month as well. There's also events happening in China and Latin America, Brazil are going to decide what teams from those areas come all here to Atlanta to play in the world championships in January.
So crazy to me. This is also crazy. Oh my God. Go on.
Okay. And so that's and the prize pool's already been well over $1 million. I believe we're at like almost 1.3 million now. We started at 600,000 and we sort of crowdfunded it similar to how Dota did their compendium, except ours is a little bit more intricate and kind of gives people more incentive to want to buy more specific items from the Odyssey, which is what we're calling our sort of crowdfunding tool that we're using to get people to add to the prize pool for the big tournament in January. And it's been going really well. The community's put up about like almost, I want to say $700,000 of that has come from the community. God. And they've been loving it. And we actually, it's like the more you buy from the Odyssey, you get like these side items. It could be like a special loading frame, or it could be like, I think we announced recently, there's a really cool Agni skin you can get where he's essentially looks like he's just all fire. Like he looks like Human Torch. It's flame on, and it's like flame on Agni, and it looks really badass. And so yeah, really cool things like that you get as you get stuff. And we announced that there's going to be a community voted on skin that essentially is going to be like the ultimate prize. So if you buy everything from the Odyssey, you get this, like, it's the community voted on Thanatos, and it's going to be Angelic Thanatos. And essentially it's going to be like one of the sickest skins in our game. Like as you level up as Thanatos, the skin gets like more and more ridiculous. So he starts off, he's sort of like got, the Thanatos wings and whatnot. And as you level up, the wings become bigger, his scythe becomes bigger, his halo becomes bigger, his sort of holy aura like becomes larger. And it's going to be like amazing. Like I can't wait to see it in game. I've only seen like a couple of the concepts, and that's just what you get for like purchasing things in the Odyssey. So as you're getting these really cool items specific to the various pantheons in our game, you get like these side items such as like the community voted skin, which is going to be really cool. And I think that's going to be revealed in January, right around the time of the World Championships.
So
oh my God,
yeah,
this is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just say real quick, because Wes is older than me by a decade.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. He's also so much better at keeping up with trends than I am. So I'm starting to become the old man in our relationship. And I continually feel like sort of like gaming is starting to pass me by, and it's partially because of stuff like this game. Like the past 2 games that you said this game is so much bigger than. I played so much of those. I played so much of both of those games, and I've played almost none of this other game. And I've spent money on all 3 of them because I love all of your games. But it's still. The thought of there being a global agenda $1 million tournament is just impossible. The idea that could have happened, and now that it's happening for this, and it's in a genre that I have continually just said, hey, everybody likes this, I should try it. Ow, my face! That's how I feel about it. And it's just again, this show isn't about me, but I just wanted to express my extreme discombobulation.
And now there was some kind of record you set with the fundraising for the tournament money, wasn't there? Didn't I read something about that? Wasn't there
we sent out a press release when we hit a million, yeah, for the World Championships. And we also did, like recently, we raised $79,000 for the American Red Cross, and that was through our Raw America charity. And we've done a ton of charities in the past too, with Smite, whether it's benefiting Child's Play or American Red Cross or Children's Hospitals of Atlanta. We've raised like the Smite community, and like our group of guys at the office and our streamers have done a lot to just kind of like give back through gaming, which I think is awesome. I never would have thought that was possible growing up, and seeing that happen, especially for the game that the company that I work for makes, is really cool.
Yeah. I know Mindcrack is heading down to Florida pretty soon for the they were very active with the Extra Life charity that just went through, and they have like the #1 group fundraiser in all of Extra Life, so they're going down to do another stream shortly. And it's really unbelievable the kind of response that the gamers pull out for these charity events. And I have to say though, like I feel like Hi-Rez has figured out how much selling skins and digital things is like selling drugs. I think they've almost figured it out, because the whole, if you buy everything, you get something really cool. I mean, that's just evil. Do you feel like your soul is a little bit darker? And are you do you feel like twirling your mustache a little bit when you talk about it?
Do you ever the LOL guys on their corner?
Do what? I missed the question completely. I'm sorry.
I said, do you ever beef with the League of Legends guys on their corner?
No, we actually that you mentioned. You mentioned we were talking about MomoCon earlier. We usually see a lot of the league, like a lot of the Riot R team comes down for MomoCon to do panels and various things, and they're all really cool. Like every time I've met a Riot guy, we've always had a great conversation, great time. It's not like we kind of like come down all like people think that we see Riot people down the hall and it turns to like West Side Story. We're like, oh hey, this is my part of town, Jack. Yeah,
and everyone's like, snapping.
Yeah. But no, we have a great time with those guys. They actually came over to our booth at MomoCon, and we were in, I think it's like the MomoCon 2013 music video this one guy did. It's on YouTube, you can see it, and it's like them dancing with us at the Hi-Rez booth, just being like ridiculous. So no, we have really good relationships with them. But as far as like Wes, your question about the evilness, I mean, I personally, I don't feel that way. Like I can't. Like I don't think that's what goes down in like the marketing meetings that happens with our president and everyone. I mean, at least I don't think so. If they've got some super secret like evil agenda, I've yet to become aware of it.
Didn't you ever see that cartoon when they came out with the World of Warcraft trading card game, and some of the cards had codes for in-game stuff, and it had the devil going, and then we'll put in-game rewards on the cards.
No, that sounds hilarious though.
But I mean, like, I don't know, like the thing is, like, especially like with TF2, some of my old hats and stuff, I found out how much money they're worth. And it just defies all logic.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Well, I'll tell you what.
We will talk. We will talk. Ha 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 ha. We will talk more about you and the things that you do later in the show. But first, ha ha.
Is there always a but first when you do that?
Yes, always.
Yes. Somehow it became a a thing. I don't know.
It's no idea why it became a thing, but it did.
And apparently Wes sucks at it. That's all I know.
Yes, because Spencer gets messages. He just can't do the but first.
Oh man, you haven't leveled it up completely. You got more talent points.
I haven't.
But first,
yeah, that's true. Lab notes. So this week was Halloween week, and so I decided that it would not be me if I didn't do something to celebrate Halloween. And so I figured what I would do is I would pull out some scary games and try them out, and I'd stream them, and I'd do it late at night because that's the only time I can really ever stream lately. And so I picked up Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know if either of you have tried this game.
I've heard of it, and I've seen pictures of a creepy teddy bear, but that's about it.
Well, the basic premise is you are the night watchman in a showbiz-esque animatronic pizza parlor, and at night the animatronics come to life and wander about. And the problem is that you have cameras, so you can see various places in the building, right? You can't leave your office, but you have a camera, so you can see where things are. But the cameras are really grainy. The lighting isn't all that great. And then, additionally, the doors to your office, you can shut them, but they use up power. And looking at the cameras uses power, and shutting the doors uses power, and turning on the lights in the hallway outside your office uses up power.
You see, our politicians keep talking about renewable energy sources. This is what happens when we rely on wind.
Exactly. So
the doors use power?
Yes, to keep the doors shut.
They don't have latches?
No, they're sliding Star Trek-esque down to top, top to bottom doors.
I need to have a word with game designers about these things.
So basically,
we figured out doors. We have figured out doors.
We have
flashlights and doors are two things we understand in the real world.
So anyway, and basically your goal at that point in time is to monitor your situation as little as possible and not get your dead corpse stuffed into an unfilled animatronic outfit.
Wow.
And it is basically a jump scare factory, and it's awesome. And it's only $5 on Steam. So it's a great game. I recommend trying it out. I'm putting out a face cam series of it on YouTube. It's a hoot. Yeah. It definitely scratched an itch. However, after a little while, I figured I should go for most people, the scariest game that's come out in the last few years has been Outlast. So I was like, okay, well, I got to do the scary game, right? The really, really scary game. And I know it's going to be scary, but for some reason, I don't like it as much as Five Nights at Freddy's. It is straightforward, break into the insane asylum, everything's going wrong, that kind of stuff. And I will play more of it, but at the same time, I even watched the viewers drop as I played. It might be the scariest game around, but watching people play Five Nights at Freddy's is evidently way more entertaining. So, and then the last
and that's how we judge our games these days. Is it fun to play? Is it scary to play? No, that's not the thing. Is it fun to watch people be scared by it? That's how we judge our games. 5 out of 5, Five Nights at Freddy's.
5 out of 5. 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Freddy again.
Would watch Wes play again.
Yes. So the last thing I did was I turned on Team Fortress 2. And for those who understand, I did a Team Fortress 2 podcast for years. I have hundreds and hundreds of hours logged playing that game, and the Halloween events kind of have a special place with me because you get to wear all kinds of costumes and things like that. And they had this
a little verklempt there, getting a little choked up.
I guess yes. I remember TF2, and it was fun. It was fun. I did have to listen to Cheddarface complain about the map a lot. Spencer will laugh at that.
Cheddarface? Oh.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours.
He's just a friend. Okay. He's just a community member. Yeah.
Yes. But it was kind of fun. This year's thing involved a mesmerizing bad guy who did a lot of bumper car events where you get you're in a bumper car and you have to knock a big ball into an enemy goal or and it's silly fun, and I enjoyed it, and it was nice to play TF2 again, and I really wish I had more time to get back into it.
I'm just going to say Brent Copeland predicted this years ago. He predicted that TF2 would become a card game. He did it.
A card game?
Cart.
I was the one that was all about that.
Well, I heard him say it. Sorry.
Oh, I see. But you don't have unique powers, and it's just bumper cars. But it's cute. And I definitely the map is probably still going. You should check it out. So Spencer, what have you been playing lately?
Well, let's see. I've had this for a while, and I've been playing it. Well, first Guild Wars 2, and I want to say how I started playing this. This is how I started playing it. I was talking to Clyde Frog. He's a friend of ours on Steam, and he was playing. What is it? The other one. What is the other
Secret
one that
World.
you're playing right now?
Secret World.
And he was like, "Hey, Wes got me playing this LOL," and I'm like, "Oh God, I don't want to play that game." And he's like, "I'm gonna be playing something else in a little while, so I'll tell you what. Why don't you boot up
Guild Wars 2?
Why don't you build up Guild Wars 2 and I'll play with you soon?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh," he just basically told me to play. He and I didn't want to say like no, so I started playing it, and I made a new character, and I've been having fun with it.
Do you feel bad that Lion's Arch is no more?
I mean, yeah, but who cares? It's just a game.
But you love that franchise.
I do, and I still, and you know, I've read the books, man. That's how big I am into it.
Nice.
But, I mean, I'm a little upset about a couple of things, and that's that, you know, the original Guild Wars had a very aggressive update schedule, and that was they put out expansions far too fast, actually. And they even admitted it eventually, so that they were putting out expansions too fast for both their ability to keep them in check and balanced and fun, to the detriment of the game a little bit. But Guild Wars 2, where's the new content? Sort of, they've had these little micro contents with the season, you know, we're starting season 2 now, but we've seen no major land increase at all, which is a shame.
There's one new zone. There's one new zone.
Compared again to Guild Wars 1, which had continents added onto it.
Yes.
And that's just a little frustrating to me. And I would like to see something. And it's not only that it hasn't happened, but there's no word of it happening ever.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, there's nothing. So, you know, it's just kind of a letdown after really, really looking forward to that game for so long, that it just has kind of been spinning its wheels from my perception. But I have been having fun with it, just kind of in my downtime. I've been playing an Ashura engineer. Yeah.
Wendy and I started new characters together, and as per usual, she has become absolutely addicted to it and has been playing her own character all on her own. She's back there winking at me. And
she's playing it right now, isn't she?
Are you playing Guild Wars right now? No, she's playing her other game, which is hunt down cool children's clothes. And sell them, and sell the ones that she's done with. It's basically playing like the kids' clothing auction house. That's kind of what she
clothing auction.
It's exactly what it is. It's amazing. I couldn't do it. So okay, what else, Spencer?
The second game, and I've had this for a few weeks, and I've been playing it on and off, but I haven't really talked about it on the show yet, is Fantasy Life for the 3DS. And it is really fun. It's one of those life simulators that typically put me to sleep. And this one also puts me to sleep, but I also have fun while I'm going to sleep. You know, what's another example of those games? You know, what's the one with all the animals?
Oh, Animal Crossing?
Yeah, Animal Crossing. You know, you're sort of you're kind of building up a life and buying a house and doing all of these pointless things for no reason. Except this one, you're also going out and killing stuff and, you know, stuff like that.
It's a life and a murder simulator.
Yeah, yeah. When I call things a murder simulator, I don't generally consider, stabbing a small snail to be a mass murder simulator. But maybe I'm, racist against snails. But yeah, it's fun. I'm now started my fourth life. I've become a miner. I'm mining for various ores. Yeah,
that sounds super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stabbing snails and such, and it's just a nice cooldown game.
Okay.
And then the last one here, I'm going to put it here just because I know you certainly won't talk about it. Is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare came out this week, and I have not missed a Call of Duty except for Call of Duty 3, which was terrible. And it's pretty good so far. I've only played multiplayer, and it's sort of like a more robust version of Titanfall, if you want to think of it in those terms. And it's not always technically there. There's some glitches, and I am so bad. Oh my god. Hey, look, I'm going to get on this match. Hey, that guy's level 35. Oh, look, I'm dead. Hey, hey, guy, how's it? Oh, look, I'm dead. Oh, my God. Hey, look, he's got, oh, no, now he's got some kind of weird mech that's coming. Oh, look, I'm dead. Oh, hey. Oh, wow. Hey, the match is over. Hey, good game, guys. I had 0 kills and 15 deaths. That was pretty fun. Hey, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and quit the game now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. But still, I still have fun to a certain degree. So, yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious because I haven't played the new Advanced Warfare, but I do, like, when I was seeing the trailers and whatnot, I was curious, just like, as someone who hasn't played Titanfall either, do you feel that it's kind of like that? Because it looked like it was with, like, the jumping and the air dashing sort of thing. Is there at least any similarities there? I'm just curious.
Yeah, the movement is a lot more restricted than it was in Titanfall. Titanfall was certainly built around the movement in a much more profound way. But again, the loadout selection is pure Call of Duty, which means there are bazillion guns to choose from, whereas in Titanfall it was a far lesser selection. And of course you can't call down mechs into the middle of battlefield, although you can call them in from the sidelines. That's one of the whatever you call
the kill streaks.
Yeah, so that's one of them. And I don't know what happened. All I know is they came in once and it was bad because they were on the other team. So I was like, hey, here's a building I'll hide in. Oh, wait, the other team knows that we're going to be hiding in buildings and they're shooting us in the buildings now. So, yeah. That was my week.
Another question I have is the only time that I forget which Modern Warfare I did play, but I'm not spectacular at them either, but I did find that if I used the Riot Shield, I caught people like by surprise because they don't think that you can kill someone with a Riot Shield, and then you just pop them twice, and so I'll be my advice to you, try the Riot Shield. If you can dual Riot Shields, then then that's the real Call of Duty meta there.
Well, there's this weird period of time at the beginning of the game where the game is gonna shift out real quickly into between the people that are playing the game to have fun, like me, and the people that play that they don't so much play games as they play Call of Duty. And they're the ones that come in and say, this game sucks. It's not nearly as good as Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 3, the one that had this, the ones that know can tell the difference between pressing W and a little bit in this one versus that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're the ones that pop on and have 25 kills in the first 2 minutes. And the game is still shaken out with the matchmaking. So right now, those guys are just coming through and just wrecking everybody. And they know all about your Riot Shield. I'm just saying.
They know. I didn't even think you were going to come back to the Riot Shield. Like, talking about just like some next level stuff.
So, Gabe, what have you been playing lately?
Well, I wish there's a lot of games I wish I could be playing. This is actually one of the busiest times for me personally, just because of all the events coming up that we want to be really spectacular with Smite. But on the free time that I have, I've been playing a lot of Destiny. I was really looking forward to it. I've actually, like, Halo was a game that I played a lot of with my friends, with my family. And it was kind of like a long time. Halo was how we stayed in touch when I was living in Arizona. And, like, I had a brother that was in Atlanta and a sister in Charleston. And we sort of just would get on at night and play Halo. And we played every single one, including ODST, which we were like the game's over. But yeah, so we got Destiny. We're all excited to jump in and play it. We've been playing it together. I haven't done the raid yet just because, like, I've not put in the time to actually coordinate with enough people to get on and do the raid, but a lot of my coworkers have done it. I just basically kind of like hear their thoughts on it. But me personally, I had a lot of fun going through the story stuff. Once we finished that, we just started doing like the dailies and the weeklies and all that sort of like dungeon content that's in there. Like, I was kind of surprised by how much kind of grindy element was in Destiny, but I still had a lot of fun with it. I'm not playing it so much right now anymore. I kind of feel like I've gotten all of the enjoyment I'm going to get out of it through doing like just strikes, and I did some PvP, and just true to the Halo game. Like, that was kind of like my test. I'm like, if I can play Destiny PvP and just immediately start raging. Like, I seem like a pretty calm person now, but like when I play PvP in FPS games, like I just get like, even if I'm winning, I'm just like screaming and like, yeah. So it definitely brought that feeling out. So that was a lot of fun. And I think it's cool that they have the events that they throw in every now and then, like the Queen's Wrath, and then there was like that PvP one, the Iron Banner, I think it was. But I've had a lot of fun playing that, and right now I'm just mainly looking forward to Dragon Age. I bought a Divinity Original Sin on Steam, but I haven't actually gotten around to playing around with it that much. But
I'm in the same boat with that, and I want to, but it feels like, and I'm in the same boat with the next Dragon Age. I feel like to play those will be this huge investment that I'm not necessarily willing to make.
Yeah,
at this time.
And I love games like Divinity Original Sin that kind of just give you this open kind of canvas to just create your own character and make your class and get all these, like, customize your skills and everything. And so that's why I'm really excited for Dragon Age. I'm definitely going to make time to play that because I've been waiting for like a single player RPG that I can just play for a long time. So I'll be spending a lot of time in Dragon Age. But with Divinity, I kind of feel like I'll get around to that at some point, but I'm not sure when. But yeah, I'm a huge RPG nerd. I love playing games like that, especially that give you the, like I said, the customization options. I grew up playing EverQuest 1, played all the expansions up till I want to say Planes of Power is around when I stopped playing EQ1, and ever since I've been looking for that EQ1 experience. So any single player RPG or that has, Dragon Age has multiplayer. I don't think it's not like the crux of the game, but yeah, any single player RPG I pretty much pick up like immediately.
I was going to ask you about that. In Divinity, did you have any interest in co-oping that?
I did.
Since it is built with that from the ground up.
Yeah, and it does have that in there. I didn't get a chance to, I didn't play enough to actually co-op with anyone, but that was one of the selling points. And I feel bad because I got one of my friends to buy it too. And I was like, dude, we can play this co-op, man. You can make your character. I'll have my character. This will be awesome. It'll be like a co-op RPG experience, blah, blah. I'll be back when we played EverQuest. I feel like I end a lot of my sentences with that. When I get excited about RPGs, and my friend's called me out on it a couple times. He's just like, dude, you got to stop with this, you'll never have that EverQuest experience. I'm like, yeah, I will, man. You don't know. Yeah, I'm really excited for Dragon Age.
I could totally see that conversation ending in tears. It'll happen. You don't know. It'll happen.
Yeah, that's me.
Have you? Speaking of EverQuest, have you poked around with any of the landmark stuff? Have you been interested in messing with that?
To be honest, I'm kind of in this weird sort of on the fence. Like when I initially heard about it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, it's not exactly what I want. Like I don't want to play a Minecrafty version of EverQuest. I just want EverQuest like the RPG, like it was back in EverQuest 1. But I was like, no, man, you got to support EQ, man. So even if you're not going to play Landmark, you need to buy those founders packs and you need to give them your feedback. And I told myself I was going to do that. And then I just kind of never really got around to it. And now I'm not really that, I know they introduced combat finally to EverQuest Landmark. And I'm kind of okay, it's got combat, it's getting closer. But I think once it has combat, death, some classes, and a few other things, and it's been kind of refined a bit, I'll finally jump in. But right now I haven't jumped in at all because I'm not really trying to build. I mean, the houses that have been built in that game look amazing. I'm not saying that it's a bad experience as it is right now. I'm just saying that's not really what I'm looking for in EverQuest. So, but I'm sure I'll jump in.
I played it from alpha day one, and it was too new for me, and I backed off of it after a couple months. But by too new, I mean too rough. There was still too much. Okay. Yeah. Too much. There were too many loose ends. Too much. Not enough to do, really. Even when you compare it to EverQuest, I mean, the building engine is neat. It's really sweet. It's really cool the way they did it. But on the other side of the fence from Minecraft, just to compare it to the obvious comparison, it requires a lot more learning, and the learning curve is a lot heftier. I don't think it's going to ever reach that any sort of critical level of public awareness to get the same kind of creative people involved. But it's still really cool, and I still hop on every once in a while to check it out and see how it's going. I haven't been on since combat started because I'm scared.
You're scared that it's going to be the same Call of Duty guys are going to be in there too?
Yeah, they're going to be rolling through, just taking names. It'll be awful.
Awesome. Okay, well let's move on a little bit and let's talk about some things that are in the news. Eureka! Ow! By the way, before we start with the news, I do want to mention that I'm a Loot Crate affiliate. If you are interested in supporting me or the show, go to lootcrate.com. Wes Wilson, sign up. You can get a box of cool nerdy gear sent to you each month. They've had some really good. Hi-Rez featured a skin in this month's Loot Crate. Unfortunately, I already had it, so I might need to give mine away. That might be something I give away, as a matter of fact.
Hey.
Anyway, but yeah, go to lootcrate.com, Wes Wilson, and support the show. So as far as news goes this week, I kind of didn't really see anything worth talking about that was event-oriented, but I did see some interesting opinion pieces, and so I thought I'd kind of talk with you guys a little bit about that. The first one was it basically is an article on Boing Boing, and it's about how your brain loves rewards, whether you like the reward or not. And the basic argument was this is why all these randomized loot things are so appealing in games, because you like getting stuff. And the quote that really
This is explaining my addiction to Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Yeah.
So much. No, I don't need another 2-star hero, but give it to me anyway. Give it. Yes, I need another Dokken. Everybody loves Dokken. Give me a Dokken.
I don't even know who Dokken is.
Yeah, it's Wolverine's son. He's terrible. Nobody likes him. Moving on.
So basically, there's some information in here, and this is the part of the argument that I found to be most compelling. The test subjects played a gambling game while the team looked on. The startling results showed that the nucleus accumbens was not activating when the reward was received, but rather in the anticipation of it. The study revealed that what draws us to act is not the sensation we receive from the reward itself, but the need to alleviate the craving for that reward. The stress of desire in the brain appears to compel us. So in other words, we're not happy that we're getting something. We're happy that we're no longer wanting to get something.
I wonder if they've done this test on people that are looking for sex for payment.
Well, now, and there's a lot
I don't really want the hooker. I just really want to get a hooker.
Well, they say that
what am I talking about? I'm sorry.
They actually say that human orgasm, the build up to it, is the part that's the best. That the climax is like the letting go. It's not the good part. The good part is the build up.
A lot of things.
So anyway, that's what's going on.
Let's talk about this for another 15 minutes.
All right, so now we're gonna have climax video game out on early access right now.
But seriously, like how do you feel? How do you feel about like getting stuff? Would you prefer to only get things that you want and need, or do you like that kind of randomized, hey, I might get something good stuff? And then there's silence.
I'm thinking because, like me personally, if there's something that I want, I kind of want to know that I can just sort of slowly build toward it, but be guaranteed it. And if there's like a sort of a random element, then if I have to, I will. But if I really want the thing, but ideally, I kind of like it where like, okay, maybe it's not like going to come to me instantly, but at least I know that I'll get it eventually. And it's interesting what you said about like how once you have it, you're like kind of like you don't have any sort of like, yeah, I got it. It's kind of just like, okay, I have it now, because there was during the Iron Banner public event in Destiny, which was the PvP one, which, as I told you guys earlier, when I play PvP in Bungie games, I go crazy. So essentially, they were like, all right, so Iron Banner is only going to be active for like a week, it was, and you have to get like rank 2 with their faction guy to get this armband. It was like, so each class in Destiny has their own like class specific item. For hunters, you get like cloaks. For titans, you get this like sash thing, and for warlocks, which is the class that I play, you get these like armbands that go across like your bicep essentially. And there's like really kind of mundane ones.
You went nuts for this.
Dude, like I saw this, and it doesn't even do anything. It doesn't give you any stats or anything. It just looks like badass.
But you wanted the armband.
It was like, yeah, the armband I had at the moment was like, it was like just had like some neon kind of LED on it. But the one that you get if you get rank 2 with the PvP guys, it was like on fire. It had like this lit up sort of Norse looking like engravings in it. I was like, that is a badass armband, and I'm getting it. So literally I played nonstop PvP for like pretty much like the entirety of the event, which is like a week. And like it got to the point where I think I was playing one weekend, and my roommate Gavin was like watching me. He's just like, dude, you realize that you blacked out at some point? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you actually like what? He's like, you got so bad, like you just like kind of like stopped moving, and then I came in the room and you got back up and started playing again. I was like, oh well, gotta get that armband, dude. Don't care. But yeah, and it was just like, and once I got it, it was just kind of like, now I have it. I wasn't really like, I didn't like jump up and like, do a dance or anything. It was just kind of like,
finally I could stop playing this damn game.
Yeah, like that was the feeling. I was just like, I'm done with this PvP for like forever. I mean, I went back to play, but like at the time I was like, screw this game, whatever. I'm done, tired of shooting all these assholes and getting shot by them. So, but yeah, dude, like I was like, I wanted that item leading up to it, and then once I got it, I wasn't, I didn't like go and show it off to everyone. Just like, I got it, that's crossed off the checklist, next, sort of thing.
You see, I wonder. I mean, this has got to be different for different people, because I mean, the first thing I thought of when you were talking about this, Wes, was gambling. I mean, obviously, this makes sense for gamblers. I mean, people who are gambling, they're chasing not just getting the thing, but constantly wanting to win, right? The wanting to win is what they're getting out of it, right? I hate gambling. Hate it. It's painful for me. I put 25 cents into a slot machine once, and I figured, okay, I've done that now. I never have to do that again.
Well, but so I look at something like achievements in MMOs along this line as well. I don't think people pursue achievements to get to achieve anything. It's more filling a void. It's you see that you are deficient in some manner. And your goal is to do the thing so that you are no longer deficient.
Your goal is to waste your life to pay no attention to your obvious deficiency.
Exactly. And then the worst part is they give you more achievements, periodically so that you've always got something to chase after. I am like, when I don't do my Guild Wars 2 dailies and I have logged on, I go, oh man, I haven't done my dailies today. When really there's no reason for me to do it other than this tally of points that might get me some fancy skins that I don't play with enough people.
I don't have that feeling at all.
Yeah.
At all. I do not have that feeling. The only time in my life that achievements mattered to me at all was when the Xbox first came out, and my friend and I, Waylon, were in this constant war over who had more achievements, just to slam it in the other person's face. And then we lost track of that, and it no longer mattered to me.
Okay, but what about Assassin's Creed flags?
Yeah, that started because he missed one of the flags. So I had to get all of the flags with his copy of the game, I might add, to shove it in his damn face. It had nothing to do with the fact that I wanted the flags.
Okay.
It was all about shame.
So we have statistically proven
shame and kindness.
Okay. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. The next opinion piece was from Polygon, and the title of it was "Call of Duty: Press X to Feel Something," and the bit in here had to do with this funeral that's in the game, where you're at this funeral and it says "Press X to pay your respects." And this is the important part that I felt. But here I was at my friend's funeral. Press X to pay respects, the game told me, and so I did. My character looked down, where his left arm used to be, and placed his right hand at the foot of Iron's casket, and we held it there together for just a moment. It was a valiant attempt at pathos. The first time in a long time that a AAA game was trying to communicate with me on a higher level, but at the same time it felt hollow, voyeuristic, tawdry. I've felt this before. What was I doing here? I didn't belong in this scene. I was sitting in my pajamas with a controller in my hand. There was a bowl of my daughter's leftover Halloween candy and a warm beer on the table next to me. I felt like a phony, like a child. Anyway, and there's been a lot of commentary about this whole press X to pay respects thing. Do you think there should be a quick time event in an attempt to make your character bond with the story?
Well, let's start off with one thing right off the bat. Call of Duty can do no right.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Now, I'm not saying that this is right. I'm just saying that anytime Call of Duty reaches beyond being a shoot-in-the-face simulator, it cannot do it right. That's just the way it works in the gaming press. Anytime they have done anything other than guy pops up, guy gets shot in face, it has been completely ripped apart by everyone. Not necessarily incorrectly either. It's just, that's the way it's been done. Second off, by the way this is described, it sure sounds stupid as hell. But I haven't played it either, so I don't know.
Well, I hear this Kevin Spacey thing's going over well, though. Like, everybody seems to love Kevin Spacey being in their Call of Duty.
Can I tell you how much I hate the Kevin Spacey thing? Almost stopped me from buying the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It's the snake eating itself, and it kills me. Okay, so Kevin Spacey plays a political figure in an HBO drama who plays Call of Duty. He then comes around to play not the same guy, but he sure has the same accent, and Kevin Spacey sure has a lot of accents in Call of Duty. In the next season of the Kevin Spacey HBO show, will he be playing Call of Duty and seeing Kevin Spacey on the screen? This breaks my fictional narratives.
Anyway, I think this is kind of an interesting sort of, and I do in general think that AAA titles tend to not get what makes a good empathetic moment work in gaming in general. I think that indies are much better at creating that subtle emotional reaction that is necessary for a sincere emotional bonding with a game.
I have never loved my pig uncle more than I did in Beyond Good and Evil, sir. I'm just saying.
Okay.
There's an exception for it.
Well, would you say Beyond Good and Evil was Ubi AAA at that point in time?
Yeah.
Really?
That's the same year they put out Sands of Time. So yeah.
Okay. I'll buy it.
Same, actually.
So unless anybody else has anything to add on, I'll move on to my last opinion piece.
I guess just with that, like in the cinematic, I haven't played like all or even many of the Call of Duty games, but I do know of the ones that I've played, I've definitely. I'm not saying that their stories are great or amazing, or the writing is really good, or that it sort of like resonated with me, but definitely like they were really good at having like lots of very interesting cutscenes and telling the story through like these big events that kind of like unfolded in front of you. I remember one of them is like you get stabbed in the chest and you gotta like pull the knife out and like throw it at the guy, and the guy was like getting away, so I'm like, yeah, pull it out. So but I guess
mash the right trigger.
Yeah. So I guess maybe they could have like made that cutscene happen in a different way. Like I don't know, maybe if I just saw it like as like a full sort of like movie sequence and then you didn't have the player interact with it, it would have made a better impression. So maybe they delivered it bad, but and I can't really tell because I haven't seen it. But I off the top of my head, I would just say that like I have seen some really awesome scenes, like as far as like action go down in Call of Duty games, and if they were trying to maybe do something more, I guess, heartfelt and somber, then maybe they should have not had the cutscene in there. That kind of works better when you're like jumping off an exploding building or something.
Yeah. See, like I think I probably would have been more empathetic if my partner and I had been jumping out of a plane, and we're going down, and we spent 5 minutes tumbling to the ground together, tumbling through space, me trying to get his parachute, and then mine went and his didn't, and then it said, press X to pay respects right before he hits the ground. That might have been an emotional moment, but standing next to a casket, anyway.
They had to cut that out because of budget problems. Just
the falling scene.
Yeah, the whole thing. It was amazing. You should see the whiteboard on it.
So, and this last opinion piece is why I don't finish most video games. And like the piece in here that really kind of got me was it said was talking about how everybody kind of gets their own conclusions as they're playing the game. He goes, that's why I don't finish most games. I play them till I've had my fill, until I've reached my own conclusion, and then I stop. And I think that's a great way to enjoy video games and enjoy life in general. There's no sense forcing yourself to finish a game when you've had enough. The quest of completion or achievements is making, anyway, blah, blah, blah. So the basic idea, he was talking about Shadows of Mordor and how so many people were disappointed with the way the story went. And he goes, I had a great time. I played it till I was done enjoying what was going on, and then I put it down. And I have no complaints about my experience. I probably enjoyed it way more than the people who actually finished the game.
Well, I've said this for a long time. Stories in games generally suck. What keeps me playing is a game's mechanics, and if they're interesting and entertaining. If they are not sufficient to keep me playing, do they evolve in a way that keeps me playing? If I feel like I understand the gameplay within 10 minutes, that's probably all I'm going to put into a game. If they're banking on the story keeping me playing, they gotta do pretty good because they don't. I mean, they just don't generally.
Yeah.
And that's just, as someone that is a literate consumer of video games, you have to tell a good story if you want the story to be a selling point. And I feel like too many people give game stories a pass. That's just my opinion. Whoa! I did not mean to kill.
It's all right. It's all right.
Podcasts there. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I think that
Jim.
I think that pretty much nailed it as far as I feel as well. I mean, there have been some things where I felt compelled to complete the story. There were certain things like Assassin's Creed 2. I was invested in the story. I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the fact that
I agree. By the time Assassin's Creed 3 rolled around, I was no longer invested in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I don't no longer care if they get off the island. The story's gone on too long.
I agree with you a little bit there. I still have Revelations on my hard drive. I want to just finish it. And I should just ignore everything, but there's the little markers on the screen, and I want to go and do all the things, and it's bad for me. So I should just delete it and not finish it, but I kind of wanna. I finished all the other ones, so anyway. Do you find you finish many games, Gabe, or do they?
That's interesting. I feel like when I was growing up, I used to finish a lot more, and then now, like, I guess between like having less time for gaming and then just sort of being okay. I guess I think it's one of those things where, I kind of wish that people, a lot of times, like, this is my personal thoughts, that people looked at video games like in their own sort of like with their own filter on. Like when you look at game reviews and Metacritic in general, it's just like people can review a game, but you got to take into account like that person's biases. Do they even like the genre of game that they're reviewing? Are they invested in like the series? Are they big fans of it? And that sort of thing. So for me personally, what makes a great game for Gabriel Mughelli might not make a great game for anyone else, but for me, growing up, I used to finish a lot of the games. And like I said, I played a lot of RPGs. I played a lot of the Final Fantasies and things of that nature. And for me, it was a big thing if I didn't finish it. Like, my friends would give me crap, and like I would feel like, I was like, not doing my duty as a gamer. It's like, oh man, I never finished Star Ocean 3, man. Like, I got to go back and like. But now it's kind of like, I guess. Either like through my own experiences playing games like Final Fantasy 13, where I was like, "There's no way in hell I'm finishing this game," and then just
I'm replaying it right now. Actually, I am replaying 13.
That sounds like torture. I don't know why you would do that. Seriously.
Well, and that's a good question. Is completing games a young person's thing? Like, is it something? When we complete a game, are we trying to recapture like the time we're able to invest in a game when we're younger?
It was not for me.
Was it? I mean,
I was able to put more time into games when I was younger, but I didn't finish games when I was younger.
Oh man, I defeated everything in Final Fantasy VII. I mean, I played through.
Well, I mean, in certain games I did, but by and large, I would play a game and. I mean, I would do what I do now, which I would play a game for 15 minutes and say, this is BS, and I would quit.
No, this is an amazing game. I actually went to Spencer's Steam profile, and I looked at the games that he has played recently, and most of them are 15 and 30 minutes of gameplay. Like a large chunk of it is he digs in and he goes, okay, yeah, okay, and he pushes it away.
I've got games with 4 minutes on them. I just saw one. I just saw a game. I'm not going to name it out loud, but I have 4 minutes on it. Like, I know what this game is. I'm done with it.
No, I mean, I think for me, like, I did finish Assassin's Creed, and I finished all the Mass Effects. And so, like, if I'm really, I guess, if I'm invested in a game, then I'll just keep playing it. And by the amount of time I'm putting into it, I'll eventually finish it. But I kind of feel like I don't really consider that my goal when I go out to play. Like when I start playing Dragon Age, which I know I'm going to play a ton of it, like I'm not going to be like, oh man, I want to see what happens at the end. I'm just kind of going to be like, oh man, I really want to get my character to like such and such level so I can get such and such skill. And I think if I add this skill with this person in my party, I can do some really cool combos. And I think
hey, you
that
see
would
her?
be
I want to do her.
I really want to romance every single option. I got to make sure I cross that off. And then for me, it's just kind of like as I'm doing stuff, you know, I eventually arrive at the end of games. So it's like if I like a game, I'll spend the time playing it. If I'm spending time playing it, I'll finish it. And if I don't spend enough time playing a game, like I don't really know if I guess I could say I finished Destiny because I finished the storyline, but I haven't done the raid. But I don't really think the raid, like I don't. Like people will ask me like, "Oh, you haven't done the raid yet? Like, why have you not done that?" It's like you're not even trying to play the game. I'm like, "Well,
okay, come on, man."
Not even trying, Gabe. God.
Not even trying. Don't have any exotics. I don't know how that happened. Well, I got exotic weapons. I have no exotic armor. But yeah, no. I just feel like I've played Destiny enough, and I might pick it up again when that DLC comes out. I might not. I might be too invested in other games, but I don't regret buying it. So I don't know.
Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about, and then we'll move on. The Verge had this article that the Internet Arcade is putting 900 classic games up for running in your browser. I'll put a link in the show notes. This is kind of awesome. I don't really have anything to say about it, but if you ever want to play classic video games, there is now a place you can do this.
I would like to play one of them for 4 minutes.
Now, when we say classic video games, like what are we talking?
We're talking like old school coin op stuff.
I actually would like to play a couple of those, like R-Type and stuff like Raiden and that type of stuff. I mean, I feel like that would be fun. I probably would definitely not want to open that at work at all because then I just get too distracted, but I feel like I definitely lose a lot of time playing some retro stuff. Yeah. I was actually talking to someone the other day. There's like this thing you can get called a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It like lets you play like old school games on your computer. I used to have like an emulator on my old desktop, and I played like a lot of retro stuff on it, mostly like SNES and NES games. But I feel like I have a what's the word? A soft spot for like old school games like that because a lot of that was like me going to arcades as a kid and seeing some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And spending time with it.
You know what? Now that you mention it, do you know what I don't have time for as an adult anymore? The 5-hour Puzzle Bobble 3 sessions that I had in college. That's what I don't have time for anymore.
But yeah, there's all kinds of great stuff. There's the old Stargate game. There's Qbert.
Oh my god.
There's Targ. There's Track and Field. There's all kinds of old school Super Zaxxon, all kinds of coin-op video games, 900 of them, and you can play them in your browser, and there'll be a link in the show notes. Inspiration.
Well, yeah, like, so I guess just what's coming up with Hi-Rez Studios and Smite. Obviously, Smite's been doing really well, came out back in March. We had our launch tournament. Was for like $200,000, and now us announcing that our world championship in January is going to be for like 1 point. By the time we get to January, the way we're crowdfunding it, I'm pretty sure we're going to be 1.7, maybe even 2 million. And that, I think, is just huge in and of itself. And the fact that we're hosting it in Atlanta, and Atlanta's never seen a gaming event of this size, like, ever. And I think just the size of the prize pool, what it is right now, makes us like the 4th or 5th franchise to have a prize pool that big for our game. So it's really monumental, especially for us being a fairly young game out there in a genre that has pretty much like a couple that are, you know, dominating League and Dota. So I think what we're doing is really cool, and like the path to the World Championships itself was really interesting. How you have these teams going through various pro leagues and then the tournaments, and specifically for anyone that's well, the EU tournament regional is already sold out, so you can watch it, though, on our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/SmiteGame. We'll be streaming the European regionals, and that's going to be on the I believe 15th. Yeah, 15th and 16th of this month. Smite European Regionals decides which 2 teams from Europe get to go and be a part of the Smite World Championships, the biggest Smite tournament ever in January. And then later this month on November 22nd and 23rd, we'll have the North American Regional Championships taking place here in Atlanta. We'll have the usual suspects. Dignitas will be there. I believe Snipe, CoG Red, and then we got 2 teams coming out of the wild card in the Challengers Cup, Rambozos and Fat Chunks. And I've never met anyone from any of those teams. Like, I've met a lot of the other like NA guys like Lasses and Zap and Sio, Allied, and those guys I've met before. But seeing these new guys come in will be really interesting, and I'm excited to meet them, see what their personalities are like, how they operate in a LAN setting, how they interact with everyone else. And it's going to be just a lot of fun. So again, the European one sold out, but you can watch that on our stream. But if you're in the Atlanta area or anywhere in the Southeast and you want to come check out a live gaming event for a game that's still growing but has a great community and some great people playing it, and a great bunch of guys on the dev team that made it possible and brought it to life, definitely check out the event page. We have event page. I said page. Event page. We have event page. We have on Eventbrite. There's still a lot of tickets available, and a lot of our partners like Dragon Con, Intel LANFest, GT Game Fest. We gave those guys like discount codes. So if you go through any of them, you can get like a 25% discount, and I believe they're actually, a lot of those guys are giving away free tickets too, which should be on their various social media. So there's all sorts of ways to get into the North American event, and I'm pretty sure we'll have some sort of incentive for anyone that shows up for North America to get like discounts on Worlds, because it's happening in the same place, Cobb Energy Center, really good venue, seats about like 3,000 or so people in the main like concert ballroom area, and the area that we're using for the regionals is a bit smaller, seats about like 600 or so, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
That all? This is just insane, man.
Yeah,
well,
and a lot of fun.
And having been to a couple of the Smite events, Spencer, like, I don't think you understand the energy level either.
No, this is what I'm imagining, because I'm hearing, and I've never been to one, I've never watched a Twitch stream, and I'm going to, because this all sounds interesting, but this is what I'm imagining. I'm imagining like an old 80s death sport movie, because you hear like the internet names, and you hear grass, something like that, and I'm hearing like grass goes in for the kill, and blood sprays everyone, and the crowd goes, ah! and that. It sounds like, Thunderdome is what it sounds like.
It is. It is exactly like it. I am not kidding you. Like, it's really amazing, because especially...
And then Mel Gibson is there being all anti-Semitic, and no one likes him.
But like, so it's really baffling, because the other thing is, like, the people in the game, like, that are watching, know how the game is being played as well. So like a complete alien, that had no concept of what was happening in the game, would just be baffled, because they would see these people going, these things are building up on the screen, and everybody's looking at it like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And people who don't know how to play would be like, I don't understand. He just hit him with a stick. I don't get it. But it's, and then all of a sudden the crowd will just go wild over something, and it is an 80s death sport movie. It's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, if you haven't watched we have a video on our YouTube channel. I believe it's like YouTube's Smite game, and on there we have our World Championships, Smite World Championships reveal trailer. It has some footage in there from the Smite launch event where that was at center stage here downtown, and you can kind of just see the whole crowd getting up and everyone kind of doing like what you were just describing. Like there's a couple gods in the game that have kind of like really sort of iconic, like, holy shit abilities that if you land them, it's just like such an amazing spectacle that everyone just like loses it. I remember specifically that there was a couple times where Anatoly from Dignitas did a snipe on a couple guys, and it was just like one of those, like, the dude was getting away and like, oh, he he got away, and then also you just see this like laser beam come out of nowhere and just take him out. Everyone just like completely loses it, and it's moments like that for people that follow the game, seeing it and just like seeing it live with like all the flashing lights and the high production that we throw on when we do these things. It's just it's amazing. Like honestly, like if I could buy season tickets to something like that, like I'm not a huge sports guy. I don't have season tickets to watch like say the Falcons, but there was like consistent gaming events that were that level that I could go to, I would just be all about it. And I think a lot of people here in the Atlanta area would be too. And so, yeah, anyone that's potentially in the area wants to come hang out with us and check out that event, please do.
Yeah. Well, I would rather see that than a Tennessee Valley Vipers game.
Well, and it's funny because like the whole so many intellectual types, make jokes about, oh, hey, I heard something exceptional happened in a sports ball game this week, and they, but at the same time, like a lot of those same people, were they watching something that they're passionate about, watching an esports event, they might, I think they would feel the same kind of, that people get when they're watching football. I think it's, I think there's something really special there. I think it is, a lot of people have said, oh, that's not sports, but I think it is. It's just mental sports. Now, the ability, watching, because I do find that contrary to what a lot of people would say, there are people who are consistently better at game. You can watch the teams do certain things together and work in certain ways together, and there are individuals who stand out as being better at certain types of attacks and certain types of strategies and everything. And there's a lot to it. And I really enjoyed both the events that I've been to. I would definitely go to another one. I think we're going to see a lot more of it in the future, and it's exciting to me. So
why don't you just say more good things about the guy that's on our show right now.
I know. So Gabe, now I heard a rumor you guys were working on another project. Are you talking about that at all?
Not too much, but like, Hi-Rez, our CEO and founder, Hi-Rez Gorin, he did go on Reddit and say essentially that, Global Agenda 2, or at least a game that will be like a spiritual successor to Global Agenda, was in the works. We haven't as far as I know, put out any specific dates for like when the betas and whatnot are going to start. But I think that too is also really exciting because from what I played of GA1, it was like in and of itself, it was a really fun game, and the customization was amazing. And the recon character that I had, I thought he was like the awesomest, most badass recon. And I actually like soloed a lot of dungeons by myself, thinking I was just like, really, really good. So I had a good time with the game, and to think that was like Hi-Rez's first kind of like I guess foray into like the world of game, the gaming industry and game development. And now that we've got GA1 under our belts, Tribes under our belts, the successful Smite under our belts, if we go back and do another GA game that's more focused and specific on the things that we know now we do best as a studio, it's going to be a really awesome GA game.
Don't make it like where I have to follow creeps around. Don't do that. Don't do that to me.
What you mean, like make it a MOBA?
Don't make it a MOBA.
I mean,
tell everybody there that you talked to someone that actually bought the first one day one, and he doesn't want it to be a MOBA. Okay?
Doesn't want it creeps. Well, you said creeps, so I mean, I'll just tell them no creeps specifically. But if there ends up being towers and stuff, man, I can't help you, man.
Oh, come on, no.
Well, okay. Let's move on. I do want to cover a couple things. We actually had some people write into the show, and I kind of want to touch on that because we haven't really had that happen a lot lately. We've had kind of a dead email box lately, and so I thought
we haven't been doing a lot of shows. So.
Well, I've been doing them. You haven't been doing them.
You haven't been doing them with me, so you haven't been doing a show. Come on, man. Come on.
Okay. So this first one was from Tom Walter. He said, I just wanted to drop you a message and let you know I really enjoy Core Elements. Your interviews are always informative and provide a lot of insight that the average gamer or myself might not have. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
And I'm going to skip that next one for now. And this next one was somebody wrote in about the John Combs episode, who's with Uber Entertainment, and they made they made Planetary Annihilation. And he said, I really enjoyed the episode. Lot more than some of the other episodes. It was the discussion of the failed human resources Kickstarter that really grabbed me. It's great to hear what felt like a genuine analysis of what happened and not the PR line. I've been listening since episode 1 and thought this was one of my top favorite episodes. I really enjoyed John Combs' thoughts on Kickstarter, and how it aligned with Spencer's from last week was pretty good. And then he mentioned some guests that I'll look into later. That's from Andrew Beck. And lastly...
Thank you, Andrew.
Lastly, this one is from Kevin Rodriguez. He says, I'd like to respond to the eternal question, tell me what you'd like to see on the show. I'm looking at the site to get names and games right. Since you had Steve Gaynor on almost a year ago, almost every other show has had some talk about writing and storytelling. Some of the most memorable ones were Zyba Scott speaking about Elegy of a Dead World, Phil Tibitoski and Spencer talking about storytelling in video games, Matt Morkarski and Matt Donatelli talking about writing comedy and race behaviors, and of course Gregory McMartin and all his talk about writing and lore and consortium. I would love to hear more about writing and lore if possible. Well, okay. I think that's a great idea.
Have you played Elegy for a Dead World?
No, it's not out yet. It's not out yet.
It's not out at all?
Not that
There's not early access?
I don't think so.
I'm keen. I'm keen on that. I'm keen on that.
Yeah, I want that. I am currently in negotiations with the Elite Dangerous team to get somebody to come on from Elite Dangerous, and I am still avidly pursuing Star Citizen. I am avidly pursuing the Disney Infinity guys. I really want to get those guys on. And then there's also some other indie games that I'm kind of poking around with, but we do have some other guests that are in the works, and I look forward to getting them. And Gabriel has brought some skins and some class unlocks. If you are interested in getting a Nox Goddess unlock for Smite, as well as the alternate skin, send an email. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know, what kind of stuff you'd like to see on the show, or just tell us how awesome we are. I really fall for that. I do. I really do.
He really does. There's nothing Wes likes better than hearing how great Wes is. I don't know why he keeps me around.
It's true. It's true. I keep you around because as a foil for my own egotism.
Shut up.
Okay. Anyway, so send us an email. I have some Nox Goddess unlocks as well as the alternate skin, and we'll give those to you. Toss us an email. Gabriel, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun. You know, you're one of my favorite people. When I see you at cons, I'm always like, yay, it's Gabe. And And I don't know if you have this nickname elsewhere, but the Dead Workers Party, you're Gabby. It's Gabby.
The Gabby thing. Yeah, that started with one of our programmers, Ben Everett, started calling me Gabby just cause, and now he's like trying to get everyone else to do it. So
it's working.
But it's we'll see if it catches on. I'm like, hey man, if it catches on, then it does. But I'm not gonna help you perpetrate the Gabby cause. But no, it's been awesome, man. Like I always love hanging out with Wes, and hopefully we'll see you at some of the upcoming events too. Spencer, it was nice meeting you. Really
nice meeting you, man.
Opinion. Yeah, loved hearing you guys' opinion on some of this stuff. It's really cool. Like it's funny because I don't really get to talk about gaming that much like this, but being someone that's involved in I guess just like sort of the game industry side from a PR aspect, and then also as a gamer, I play a lot of games. This was really fun, so thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, and everyone, we'll see you next week, and thanks for joining us. Salute.
Bye bye.
Later.
You've been listening to Core Elements, exploring gaming one element at a time. A listener-supported podcast. See the show notes or get more information at coreelementshow.com or leave us a voicemail at 256-763-0455.